Welcome to another video. Today I am discussing something that just happened in the last couple hours. Of course, as you may know, I am, well, I am, or I was, maybe at this point, a huge Kanye West fan. But his shenanigans for the last year or so has put me on the edge on why I think Kanye West has lost his mind. As you may know, Kanye West met with Donald Trump today, and it was the strangest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. The thing I don't understand is I don't know, I just think that who's ever given these ideas to Kanye West clearly should just be fired and whatnot. I personally think that the meeting with Donald Trump was probably the strangest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And to me, it feels like as though America is just turning crazier every single day. And just to see the interview and his interaction with Donald Trump, it's crazy to see how two egomaniacs are interacting with one another. And I feel as though Kanye West has definitely lost his mind. I mean, as a Kanye West fan, or start not to be a Kanye West fan, it's very hard to unpack a lot of things about Kanye West. I truly understand the fact that he does have a mental disability, a mental issue, which I am not picking on. I understand for a fact that mental issue in America is a big deal, and I understand that mental issues like bipolar, schizophrenia, etc., it's a huge problem in which we kind of still don't understand nor find a way to, I guess to understand it and try to find a way to not say cure it, but I guess make it better for people to accept more people who have mental issues in America. But at the same time, I feel as though Kanye West is confused on what he is trying to say and what he's trying to do. Though overall, there's nothing wrong with an artist like Kanye West to meet a divisive president. There's nothing wrong with an artist to have a conversation with somebody that a lot of people in a country don't agree with. I just think that we all know the history of Kanye, and we all know how Kanye is in terms of his ego and the way he conveys himself as an artist. I just think that could have been somebody else better, maybe, who could have a more civil and more logical conversation with Trump. I just think that I don't know, I'm just lost in words of trying to figure out what Kanye is really trying to do. Kanye's West motivations tend to be about Kanye West. It's never really about anything else. It's not anything else bigger than himself. And at the same time, I feel as though Kanye West truly is misinformed in a lot of things. I like his music still, of course. There's nothing that can take away the fact that he, in terms of hip hop as a genre, he's contributed a lot, and he's done a lot to change the game. But as a person, it's hard to separate the art from the person when you have situations like these, where it makes me feel as though Kanye West doesn't know what he's doing. Somebody is not, I don't know, whoever is helping him is not really helping him 100%. I mean, of course, we all know who we can blame, but at the end of the day, I mean, Kanye West is a grown person, and the decisions that he make as a person, only he can do it himself. Other people can tell him, wait, this is a bad idea. and whatnot. I wouldn't necessarily say 100% is a bad idea, because to me personally, there's nothing wrong with talking to people who are ideological, who have different opinions, who see things differently than you, who may not necessarily have the same political views as you as a person. I have nothing wrong with that. But it's hard to understand somebody who clearly is misinformed politically about the world around him. There are some tidbits of things he said that I like, well, okay, that seems reasonable. But to me, I feel like Kanye West is not educated enough to have a conversation with a president. Hey, what's up, Radio the God? I just think that personally, I mean, I could have had a better conversation with Trump. It's just, why, Kanye? Like, what are you doing? Like, what in the world are you trying to say? And I think personally, I think that Kanye West just needs to just disappear. He needs to just go away and try to figure out himself, because the Kanye West I grew up liking and Kanye West I grew up understanding is kind of not the Kanye that I see now. I think Kanye West is just lost in trying to figure out what he is trying to do and what he's trying to say. I think he's at like this midlife crisis situation. I don't know, maybe. Or maybe he's past the midlife crisis, or he's still in the midlife crisis. But at the same time, I can't really, I can, as a person that knows people in my life that has mental issues and mental problems, I can't really hate Kanye West entirely because of that. Mental issues is a big deal in America, and we are still struggling in ways of dealing with these types of situations and dealing with these types of issues when it comes to mental problems. And so, in Kanye West's situation, this is a perfect example of somebody who's a celebrity, who is a public figure with these sort of problems. And all we can do, the situation we're making it worse is by demonizing a person who apparently doesn't understand what he's doing. And for me, I mean, I don't necessarily want to hate on that part, but what I do dislike of what Kanye West is doing is not really being educated and informed enough about the political situation to have these kind of conversations with a president. I think for me, it's just all for show, and it's just rubbing more egos in the room. I mean, even Donald Trump was kind of like confused of what was going on here. A lot of people who are Kanye West fans, it goes like, well, Kanye West is ahead of his time. He's a genius, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yes, he's a genius when it comes to music, but when he comes as a person, he's very confused and chaotic. Don't get me wrong, there's certain things that Kanye West have said, not the whole Donald Trump thing, but there's certain things that Kanye West have said in the past where certain things I agree with. I agree with thinking about yourself, thinking with yourself, thinking out loud, not being afraid to tell people what you think, and not being afraid of changing the world around you. But when you're using your celebrity to rub your ego and to boost your ego, and not necessarily doing things to change the world socially, then what is the point? As an artist, my duty is to showcase my talent to the world and let people know that I want to do something to change the world with my talent. Helping kids, building schools, doing things where I feel like I'm impacting the culture. But Kanye West is always a bit about himself. It has always been about his ego. He's always talking about himself. And I like Kanye West because we kind of think the same way. We're both Geminis, I guess. But there's a lot of things I totally disagree on. And that meeting is a slap in the face to creative people, because it's like, okay, you're not really, and I say a whole slap. I just feel like if Kanye West was really having a conversation with Donald Trump, it should be more genuine, and it should have been more, and he should have been more educated on what he wanted to say. But nonetheless, I don't disagree with him talking to Donald Trump, because I feel like, as a black person, as a person of color, we kind of do need to have these conversations with people who are on the opposite of the aisle, instead of saying victim blaming and say, oh, they're not doing this for us, and not doing that for us. Instead, we need to head on people who are opposite from us and try to have a logical conversation about what's wrong, what's right, what can we do to work together, to understand each other, and to make things a lot better. I feel like if all these types of situations in the world happen, whether it be, especially where I live, and other things, I think a lot of change can happen in a positive way. But if you're not educated, and if you're not using your mind the right way to understand the situation, to have a logical and an educated conversation, then you're going to be made fun of, and people are going to think you're stupid, and people think you're not fit to have these conversations. And then when a person like myself, who is educated and who has a mind of his own, can never have these conversations, because we get shut down. Oh, you're just like that last black person that was crazy and deranged and had an ego. We can't have these conversations. As a colored person, to me, this is kind of an embarrassment, because as a black person, we want these conversations. Like T.I. I agree with T.I. what he said about Kanye West, about like bootlegging, and like it's a shame. I do agree with that. But at the same time, I feel like as though that T.I. did something, hasn't done something that Kanye West hasn't, is actually talking to the opposite and willing to have these conversations. I think that's the one part I feel like as though that Kanye West does get my praise for, is willing to try to combine these people and try to have a conversation with one another. But Kanye West is a type of person that has confused thoughts and not necessarily has a mind that is straightforward. It's all over the place. That's probably what happens to a lot of creative people. We tend to just be all over the place. We're never organized. We're not really understanding a lot of things. We just say what we feel, whether it's right or wrong. But then on top of that, you also have to add on the fact that he does have some sort of mental issue. He really does. And it's all over the place. And I feel like as though that Kanye West is necessarily not, he needs to really just figure himself out. He really just needs to just calm down and just really just do a Frank Ocean and just disappear. I'm not trying to make him say disappear in a bad way. I think Kanye West just needs to figure himself out, because every day it's just making people more and more angry about him. Of course, there's people I know who just didn't like Kanye West from the beginning and never liked him ever since 2008. I know lots of people who've never been fans of Kanye West, or secretly been fans but don't really like him as a person. I like his music, and there are certain things he's said that I like as a person, but it's harder and harder to really appreciate somebody who doesn't understand the political climate and really doesn't understand the world around him. But then again, that might be part of that mental issue, is not being connected with the world. And it's very sad, because he actually does really need help. He does really need help. He really does. And he's a classic example of somebody who actually does need help, but is not getting the proper help because of his celebrity. Well, he's famous. He's just having these moments. But he really does need help. And in order for him to get this help, a lot of his yes people, and even his wife included, just needs to just need to take him and just put him somewhere to get him to visualize what's going on here. I just think that as Kanye West in the hip hop community, it's going against a lot of things, but at the same time, it's not like, don't forget, Eazy-E was invited to the White House and meet Ronald Reagan, but that's just hip hop history. people who don't know about that. So I just think that for me, you know, there's nothing wrong with Kanye West is doing and meeting Trump, but that's the part where it ends for me. And say, cool, you're meeting him, you're talking, you're discussing, but what is the motive? What are you really doing? Are you really sane enough to have these conversations? Why are you doing this? And it doesn't make sense. I think Kanye West had a good intention, but he's not there. He's not understanding anything to really have these conversations. I think it's a slap to the black community. But I must say that maybe perhaps there's a silver lining behind this. I think a lot of people of color, like anybody who's against Donald Trump, should have these type of discussions with people who are Trump supporters. But at the same time, in the scheme of things, I think around the world where there are divisiveness in the political world, whether it be countries like Brazil or other countries that are having some political dissent and horribleness going on, there should be an opportunity for people in opposite sides to really have these discussions, because that's the only way democracy can move forward. If we're not having these discussions with people from the opposites, how are we going to get things changed? Okay, maybe it might just be a discussion, but I think change only happens in discussions. I just think that we got two people who not really necessarily are are sane in anything, and really are not understanding a lot of things around the world around them, simply because they are just celebrities and they're rich. And it's very disappointing. As for Jim Brown, now Jim Brown, on the other hand, we all know the history of Jim Brown, what I do. And it just really is another thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, Jim Brown stood for civil rights, and he was Martin Luther King. I don't know. It's just don't make sense. Like 2018 and like 17, it's just a weird time in America. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of things. There's a lot of things that America has that most countries don't. And having these discussions is one of them. And there's nothing wrong. There's a lot of things I praise America for still. But at the same time, America's just turning more and more into crazy town every single day. And I think maybe it's a great thing, because I think sometimes things have to be crazy in order for it to be sane again. But I think this Kanye West meeting Trump is a prime example of a person who's just doesn't understand what's going on here. I think he could have thought this through. Maybe he could have brought T.I. Why bring Jim Brown? Should have brought T.I. with you. Like, T.I. and Kanye West could have went together, because T.I. has a different opinion than Kanye West. Instead of T.I. going after Kanye West, it would have been nice if Kanye West and Kanye West said, look, T.I., I'm going to see Trump. Come with me. I know you disagree with me. Maybe both of us can just have this conversation with Trump. Maybe we can have some sort of like idea. Maybe my opinion would change. It would have been a better idea. That's just my thing. Maybe this is an opportunity for two people who have different ideas to actually talk to somebody who is totally polarizing the country. And it would have been a good victory for hip-hop, because hip-hop can clearly show that hip-hop has always been political. It's always been standing for people's rights. It's always been standing for a lot of things. And I feel like as though this was a huge missed opportunity for a lot of things, for a lot of people, and including Kanye West himself. So I think Kanye West definitely has done the craziest thing in his life. History will tell. But right now, it seems like he just lost his mind, and Kanye West just needs to just stop what he's doing. 20 years from now, we'll probably have this discussion, and we say, you know what, Kanye West did this, and Kanye West did that. Maybe it was bad, maybe it was good, don't know. That's the thing about living in a social media generation. Things are crazy in the beginning, But if you take years time to analyze and dissect what's really happening, we don't know, you know. But I think that Kanye West is just not educated enough to have these conversations, and it's quite disappointing, and a lot of many reasons. But like I said before, there is nothing wrong with having these discussions, because at the end of the day, you know, we need to have these discussions with people from the opposite, Democrat, Republicans, I don't know, people who are on opposite sides of the world. It doesn't matter. It's nothing wrong with having discussions with people you disagree with and people that you don't like what they're saying. Because at the end of the day, things will change, may not, but it's good to have these conversations. So that's my rant about Kanye West. I think, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't want to be a fan of Kanye. I mean, Kanye West, I like his music. Kanye West has always been a game changer. Kanye West has done a lot of amazing things, but as a person, he's always just derails everything and like just don't know. I think maybe people say, why is it so important to talk about one person? Because I mean, Kanye West has also been one of the persons that I've admired when I was a kid. I mean, I still look like a kid, I guess, but I still admired when I was in high school, and when I was, you know, his music really changed me a lot, and I was really inspired by him because he did things that no one in hip hop was doing. But it seems like more and more, as the years go by, he goes more and more into the deep end, and I'm just kind of like that person that's still stuck on old Kanye, and it's like, look, Kanye, like, you should have just stayed in this one area. But then again, I can't hate on somebody who's trying to grow. I think Kanye West is trying to grow, but he's growing for the wrong reasons, I think. And he's growing in an incoherent way. And I think a lot of people who are surrounding him, I don't think he has the right type of people who are surrounding him. And even if the right type of people who are telling him these things, he's not really listening. And so Kanye West, if he's ever watching this, Gemini to Gemini, which he's probably not going to watch this. I don't think he will. Who cares? If he did, you know, maybe I can design the next Yeezy. I don't know. But anyway, if he's ever watching this, I think Kanye West just needs to just figure himself out. He just needs to just stop and just figure himself out. He's not 100% there. He's like, oh, I am, but he's not. It's just a ploy. It's just a way of saying, well, I'm okay, but he's not. And it's very sad as a Kanye West fan. So Kanye West meeting Trump, who knows? But I think the reason why I'm saying this is because even though it's all about one person, there's something that I feel like needs to happen, not just with two celebrities, but a lot of people, especially in my country. It's about meeting different sides of opinions and trying to understand one another. Instead of saying, well, you're this and you're that, and you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be doing that, I don't like you, I don't like you. It's more like we need to figure out what can we do to work together. There's a whole underlying meaning of all this. And maybe that's who I am. I see the underlying meaning of a lot of things because I feel like people, maybe because as an artist, that's who I am. You know, there's layers behind layers. And in order for people to understand one another, we have to peel these layers and try to get to the roots of many problems. So yes. So that's my thoughts. That's what I think. Some people might dislike this video. Some people are like, why are you talking to yourself? Not really. I'm talking to you guys. Like the Eminem video I did, a lot of people hated it. But I was kind of right in a lot of things I said. You know, as musicians, as artists, there has to be a time where we just need to just take a step back and see what is going on here. You know, and I think the biggest thing Kanye West, I think one thing I would applaud Kanye West for, another thing is that he doesn't care about his image. He doesn't really care, which it's a big deal with a lot of celebrities. You know, a lot of celebrities they care more about their image than anything else. Despite Kanye West being wrong in a lot of things. And sometimes he get certain things right, and there's certain things I have agreed with Kanye West about. Like, oh yeah, I do agree with them. He has moments where he says crazy stuff, and then like in between those crazy things, like, oh yeah, you speaking of that. Can you elaborate more on that? But he doesn't. And that's something that Kanye West is kind of a rare thing, and especially in today's world, where he's able to do that. Whether wrong or right in most people's opinions, and I think he's wrong more than right, you gotta give him credit for that. And that's something I admire still, is that he has the ability to do this thing. You know, most people can't do what he can do. But at the end of the day, yes, you can speak your mind and say what you want to say, but you need to be educated on what you're trying to say. And, you know, it's kind of like a what was it, Socrates, Plato? You know, democracy needs educated people. If you're not educated, what's the point? You have to be educated. If you're not educated, what does it mean? So that's what I'm trying to say here. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you dislike this video, say I dislike this video. You shouldn't be talking about Kanye West like that. If you agree about this video, tell me. Tell me your thoughts and opinions about Kanye West. What do you think? I think Kanye West, there's nothing wrong with meeting Donald Trump, but I think he's just doing it the wrong way. And he needs to be educated and just stop. Come back when you're smart enough to have an intelligent conversation. And bring T.I. I don't know. I think he's just being retarded. Ridiculous. And you know, so, but at the same time, I think that mental illness is a serious thing. And we need we need the right kind of people in Kanye West circle. But it's an example that everyone needs the right type of person to help with mental issues. Mental issues is a big deal. And we all have to be understanding, of course. And we all have to be more willing to forgive, but also willing to encourage this person that perhaps what you're thinking is a little bit out there. You need to figure out what you're trying to do and what you're trying to say. You know, wearing a MAGA hat and saying you're Superman doesn't do anything for me. I mean, it's like saying I'm wearing a swastika and it makes me feel like I'm Batman. You know, it doesn't do anything. You know, you're alliterating, you're exemplifying something that stands totally the opposite. You know, I can see if Kanye West is wearing the "Make America Great" hat again, and make America Great Again hat, and he's like helping homeless people, but you never see that. Or like, you know, going to children's hospitals and doing music and art for cancer patients, and like going to different countries around the world and like helping people and doing things. Maybe he is doing these things secretly, I don't know, but on the outside it might not be the case. To me, if you're gonna make a hat great, you need to do something totally opposite of what the president's doing and show that this hat means more than something negative. You're using the hat the wrong way. It's just like, this hat makes me powerful, and just like that doesn't mean anything. You're just saying you make America Great hat again. You know, it just, I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna wear a hat that simplifies negativity, turn it to something positive. Don't go and do these meetings. If you're gonna do these meetings, you need to talk about something that's more important than yourself. You know, which I don't know if he did. I watched some of it. I did watch all of it. I just think that personally, he just needs lots of help. So again, thank you for watching this video. Click, you know, I'm not necessarily gonna ask. I don't necessarily care about, you know, I'm not doing this to like get, you know, I just want to do this to really convey my opinion, because it's just been boiling a lot. And, you know, for me, I just don't understand, like, why. I don't understand. But then again, Kanye West is just can't be understood. I mean, sometimes it could be a good thing or a bad thing, you know. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. I'm probably gonna do more videos on certain things like this. And also recently I've been doing a lot of like art related videos because I'm trying to do more art based content on this channel as well. A lot of people have been asking for it, so I'm gonna give the people what they want, you know. And thank you for seeing this video. If you guys have any opinions, thoughts, questions, anything, let me know. I don't mind having these discussions because for me, I'd rather have an educated discussion on this rather than have a non-educated rant like somebody that did today in the White House. And the irony is, the person that usually is the most insane person was actually sane. So, there you go. We live in a crazy time, 2018. And I'll see you guys on the next